right, we are live with Kammesennin, Buster only, Mega Man, Speedrunner extraordinaire. He's joining us here live. I mean, we're not live. What are we talking about? But anyways, we're recorded. It's a recorded interview. We're not live. All right, guys. Okay. Anyways, so I got a bunch of questions. I've wanted to do this for a while. I feel like Kame is a guy that he does a lot of work. He's got a lot of skills, and he doesn't get as much recognition as he deserves. So I'm going to use all 100 of my YouTube subscribers to try and increase his views by so much. I bet your views are just going to skyrocket after this.
Yeah, obviously, clearly.
So I guess we'll start out. My first question is, what is your favorite classic and non-classic Mega Man game?
Ooh, good question there. So classic, I mean, I think we already know the answer to that one. I'm pretty biased. Rockman and Forte all the way. Absolutely love it. I used to say Mega Man 4 was my number one, and that's up until maybe a year ago at most. Rockman and Forte won me over fast.
Yeah,
I love it. Can't get enough of it. It got so many things right that all of the NES games got wrong, in my opinion. But when it comes to non-classic, I gotta go with another obvious common choice, which would be Mega Man X1. The original X. I mean,
it's so good.
It's so good. It's so brilliantly designed, and it added so much to what we thought at the time was the same series, but apparently it's the next series. Just we didn't know that when it came out, because after it came out, Mega Man 7 came out, and you're like, wait, I thought this was 10.
Yeah. What happened
X,
to fucking 7 through 9?
Yeah.
So, okay, why did you like Mega Man 4? Why did you like that one so much? I don't hate Mega Man 4, but to me that one, it drags. I don't like the Mega Buster yet. I don't like it yet in that one. And then the Robot Masters I didn't really like, but what made you like 4 so much? Because we did a whole video on Mega Man and Bass, so we don't need to go into that at all. But
yeah, we don't have to get too in-depth on that one. I think we've done enough damage.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Mega Man 4, it could be partially biased because it was the first one I actually owned as a kid, and maybe that's got a lot to do with it. I had already played 2 and 3 at that point. 3 I felt was pretty difficult. 2 I felt was pretty simple, and 4 I thought brought a lot of good concepts together and was a longer game. Which I know that's part of the reason you didn't like it, but yeah. I really appreciated that because after playing especially Mega Man 2, you got me thinking, NES Mega Man games can't be this long, but then there comes 3 and 4 and they're long as hell.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but the Mega Buster for me, it really did it. Like it was a whole new concept. Like we can charge now. We can charge in all kinds of scenarios. We can store a charge shot, which is pretty cool. Like if you charge up all the way and pause and switch to something else, when you come back.
What? I didn't even know that. Like the solar whatever one. What's that one?
Kind of like that. You're talking about Pharaoh shot?
Yeah, so you can charge you can charge your Buster and then switch to Pharaoh shot, and your Pharaoh shot will be charged?
No, not like that. You store the Buster charge. So like whatever you switch to, you can use that for a little bit, and when you come back to the Buster, it'll still be charged and ready to fire.
What? I didn't know that either.
You literally store the charge shot. It's not intentional, but it's there.
That's awesome. That's pretty cool, actually.
4 was also the first one to have additional items that you could explore to find. It only had 2 of them. It had the balloon and the wire. But
right, the wire. That's like in the water level, right? You go down to the bottom. Yeah. Okay.
You jump down in through all the.
What's
spikes
the balloon? I don't know if I ever got that one. Where's that?
The balloon is in Pharaoh stage. Right in the very beginning. There's like there's a big gap you can jump over just barely, but normally you're supposed to just fall through and go through the rest of the stage. But if you jump the gap, you go across the sands and you grab balloon, and it's literally just like a little balloon platform that slowly rises that you can hop on. And
so is it kind of like item 1 from
It's a lot like item 1.
Okay, from Mega Man 2.
It's faster technically than using Rush anywhere that you can. Like even Cossack 2 with the long section with all the spikes and everything, like I'll use balloon there over Rush every time.
Okay. I didn't know that.
You can deboost and slide on the spikes and just go nice and quick. But I mean, yeah, that's pretty much all there was to it. Is just how long it was, the fact that it had actual story in the middle of it. Not
That's
much, but
true.
because
Yeah, it did.
it's an NES game. But it just, I don't know. I think my age at the time was probably the biggest determining factor there. It was easy to wow me as it was, and it did a lot of new things. So I got hooked.
Yeah, see, you just talking about it kind of changed my mind a little bit because I look at the way I look at 4 is from the point of view of somebody who had already played 6, and even I don't think I played 4 until I played like 9. So the
Oh,
charge,
wow.
the Buster, like if you were to play 1, 2, and 3, right? I played 1, 2, and 3, and then you were to play 4 when it came out, you'd be like, holy shit, there's a fucking charge shot.
Exactly.
But
That's
I did that to me was on Mega Man 6. I was like, holy shit, there's a charge shot, and then holy shit, you have like the cool rush adapter and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I totally get now why people like 4 because there are a lot of people who like 4, and I've always found it just kind of drag on too long, stuff like that. Nothing to me, there was nothing special about it. But yeah, now that you mention it, that was the first one. That was everyone's first experience with the Mega Buster, like the charge shot. So that makes a huge difference, especially for someone like you who fucking speedruns Mega Man games using only the Mega Buster. Um,
yeah. It's a big deal if you're a Buster only runner for sure.
yeah, yeah, that's a huge game changer.
Yeah, the only other thing I could say as to why 4 specifically would be the ones after it on the NES that had the charge shot. I don't think either of them got it right. I think 4 had it the best. You can charge while sliding, and you can take damage and not lose your charge. And I I hear complaints about aiming the charge shot in 4, but honestly, it's no harder to aim than a lemon. So
what do you
I don't
mean
see the
aiming?
problem
Just because it's like so thin?
because it's small. Yeah,
Yeah,
some
yeah,
people
that's
have
what I
trouble.
hated because I was used to 6, right? I played 6 and then I went
Yeah,
back and I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I could
Okay.
see that being like an adjustment, but at the same time, like again, it's no harder to aim than a regular lemon. So I don't personally, I don't find it to be that difficult, but I could see how people
Yeah,
could.
totally. All right, so the next question is do you ever still play the Mega Man games casually or does it always end up being a Buster only speed run? Like
Hmm.
you're not even streaming, you're sitting at home just hanging out. I think that's another that's jumps to another question. Do you still play games just on your spare time, or are you always streaming whenever you're playing a video game? Are you always streaming?
There are some rare occasions that I get to sit and play a game, especially like Tuesdays. Today is a Tuesday. In the evening, me and my Discord peoples hang out, and sometimes we'll play something, but not stream it. That's the main non-streaming game time that I get. Um, as far as playing any casual Mega Man goes, I'm not sure if what I do on occasion counts as casual or not, but I might like run through a section real quick to get to a specific section and not really care too much about my speed strats on the way. But then like once I'm there, I'm probably there to practice something or try to
Right.
find a new strategy. Or it's really hard once you've been speed running, especially for a long time, to
Yeah.
just not like it's this thing, and I think it's common with speedrunners. I think this is related to that. There comes a point where you've been doing it so long, and you're not like the best necessarily. I'm not tooting my horn like that, but
Yeah.
you've become so good that you start forgetting what it was like to learn initially.
Yeah, that would be weird,
You
hey?
forget what it was like casually, and like when people start asking you questions and you hear the way they're approaching things, you're just like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah,
Because you can't remember what it was like to not know what you know now, and I don't know.
that's
I, th- I
true.
think I think it's very difficult to not speed run once you've been speed running.
That makes sense. Cause even myself, like as a normie here, like if I know a quicker way to get through a stage or something, I never don't take it. Like
Yeah.
actually a problem because I'll be like doing game cap for like a top 10 video or something, and I'll be like, oh fuck, I just skipped that stage. Like I was doing I don't know if have you ever played Power Blade? You need to play Power Blade if you haven't.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I have.
And like do you know the like the boss skip? There's like you could skip almost all the
No.
bosses. So
No, I don't know that.
if you throw a grenade as soon as the boss door opens, it just explodes the boss once the boss room starts. and I was doing game cap, and like the first boss in that game's like kind of iconic, like that mech guy with the shield, and I was like streaming it for game cap, and I was like, oh hey guys, check this out. And then I fucking killed the boss, and I was like, oh shit, I really should have recorded that. Instead, so then I had to go back and replay stage 1 again at the end. But I kind of get it then, because yeah, once you find like skips and stuff, it's like you kind of almost just use them because you're like, I want to get to the end. You're not playing the game just to fuck around. You want to get to the end of the game usually, right? So you kind of just take the shortest route, you know.
Yeah, I could definitely understand that. I've had some instances where I'm trying to record some video, and next thing I know, I've wasted an hour because I skipped something and
Yeah.
didn't realize it until the end and went, wait a minute, where's my clip of that? Oh, I'm an idiot.
I skipped it.
Reset.
Yeah, that's the worst. So I guess my next question is, how did you get into speedrunning? Why? What made you a sadist?
That's a good way to put that, I guess. That's fitting. Well, it goes back to 2013 when I learned that speedrunning was a thing. I don't know if I can or should mention specific people, but
yeah, go. I don't care. I mean, unless they're in jail right now, then maybe
not.
not.
But I suppose it's possible, but I hope not. I have not kept up with this person since then because their community. But Caleb Hart.
Okay, yeah.
Was where I found out about speedrunning. So I found out about Twitch and speedrunning around the same time, 2013. And I saw him playing X1, and it said he was going for 100% world record, and I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Let me click on this and see all these crazy strategies going on, and I'm like, holy shit, I knew it. I knew you could do that. Oh man, look at him using the boomerang for this over here. Oh man, like just all these crazy strats going on. I'm like, all right, I gotta replicate this. I thought I was good at Mega Man X. I'm seeing that I'm not good at Mega Man X. So I actually started speedrunning 100%, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, X1's the only game I've ever done anything outside of Buster Only. I love that game that much. Like, if you ask me my overall favorite, X1.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so I started trying to replicate these strats and doing the route that I was seeing and getting decent, I would say, at least for the time. I was getting like a 48 or a 45 or something like that, which is not terrible, especially 7 years ago.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
But I mean, I only did a couple of runs and never submitted one, and somehow or another, I just got out of it for a little bit and went back to the variety broadcasting thing. But then I started playing Mega Man games as part of the variety casual thing, and I was like, you know what? I want to do this faster. And it started with Mega Man 1, and I started looking up speed runs. I saw cool kids run, and I'm like, okay, I can do this.
Cool
I can
kid.
take,
yeah, I watch
I
him
can
sometimes.
take this world record. I'm going to take this. So I started training real hard for it, and I got real close. And my sum of best, even now, is still a little bit lower than the current run. But once he came up with this weird Yoku zip strategy, like I gave up. I was like, that's it. Next game, got it, bud.
I'm not doing that.
You got it. I can't. I tried for days and days and days, and it's like every now and then, yeah, I can execute the trick, but doing it in a run, forget it. Not happening. No way. It's a free 15-second save, but not for me, it ain't.
yeah, there's got to be some brick walls when it comes to speedrunning, hey? Like, that's got to be a nightmare sometimes. So, why Buster Only? I know you've mentioned before, even as like a kid, you just never went into the menu, so is that kind of why, like, when you would play Mega Man games, you never really went into the menu, basically?
No, that's a lot of it. I didn't bother with it very often because I felt like I didn't need to. It's like, well, this thing works. I just hit the button fast and everything dies. I don't know. The other thing was I just don't like menus.
Yeah,
I don't like breaks in the action. I like to just keep pressing buttons for hours and hours. I mean, you saw at least part of the Triple M run. I mean, obviously, I really like to push a lot of buttons really fast for a stupid amount of time. I don't want to see the menus. I just want to push the buttons.
That's nuts, man. That's nuts.
Like as far as speedrunning Buster Only goes, it does come back to that a little bit, but it also comes back to memory issues. Like I can't remember what weapons are in what game or where to use them or what position they're on in what menu. It's like, it ain't worth the time. I'll never get it.
Yeah. To be fair, I think most people play the stages Buster only, other than like the mandatory parts. But why did you decide to do the Robot Masters Buster only? Just because you can't remember which like boss weaknesses, basically? Because like that happens to me with like the games I don't play as much, like Mega Man 4 and 5. I have no idea who's weak against what. Is it kind of that, or why did you decide to do like the bosses Buster only?
Well, I mean, people outside of casual, like any other category in a speed run, they're using weapons for most of the stages as well, just to advance a little quicker or manage lag a little better or whatever the reason may be. They're swapping pretty frequently, but in my case, when it came to the bosses, it was kind of more of the same for me, where it's like, well, Buster's already working, so I don't know, I don't care.
Yeah, yeah.
They're, for the most part, I would say they're easy enough that it doesn't matter. There's a couple of exceptions, like say Plugman in Mega Man 9. He comes to mind immediately. He's a prick every time.
He's tough Buster
Every time
only.
he is real rough. He doesn't really seem like any other Robot Master that there's ever been, if you ask me.
Really?
Well, yeah, I mean, the way he jumps around and the way he's got two projectiles on screen that run around the stage.
Oh, right. One's like sparking everywhere, isn't it, or something? I can't remember.
Yeah, there's usually two of them, and they come down like right on you. It's at the worst timing exclusively. He's a dick.
Yeah, I believe it.
But barring that exception and maybe a couple other small ones, for the most part, I feel like the Robot Masters are all pretty easy. The Wily stage bosses, they're all pretty easy for the most part. I've never really felt compelled to switch except when the Buster literally doesn't work.
Yeah, which does happen usually in Wily stages and stuff. You'll have something happen like that. That's actually kind of funny that you kind of mentioned the whole Plugman thing, because thanks to you, I've done a couple Buster only runs just in my free time, and I honestly feel like you're kind of missing out if you don't do at least one Buster only run in your life of each of the games, because when you're playing with the special weapons, you don't learn any of the boss patterns. Like, you don't really experience the boss fight unless you play it at least once Buster only. Like, part of the fun is learning the patterns and seeing what the guy's gonna do and how to hit him and stuff. But if you have the special weapon, like for example, who is it? Is it Crashman? I think if you use Airman, you just jump, you shoot one Airman. If two of those tornadoes hits him, he's just fucked. You don't have to fight Crashman at all. He's just gone.
Yeah. There's a few bosses like that throughout the series where it's just like one or two shots
and they're gone.
Or I think the best example is like Metal Man Refight. Just
with Metal Man,
one metal blade.
yeah.
But no, what you're saying is very true. There was a lot of times when I was going through the classic series where people would be making comments about, oh man, I never saw this pattern before. I didn't know this guy could do this much stuff. And honestly, the best example of it was probably Split Mushroom in X4, though.
Okay.
Because X4 was another one where I had used weapons and I'd played as Zero in the past, and just kind of took care of the Mavericks quickly. But learning at Buster only, it was like, oh my god, I didn't know he did this much. Oh my god, what is going on? They're both just like flying everywhere. What in the hell? Like, I had never seen all of what was going on before, and trying to learn to deal with it was actually one of the biggest challenges for me in that game. It was honestly rough, having never seen that whole pattern before, and then just running through the gamut of everything he does. And it's not too bad when they're like on opposite ends of the screen and crossing over.
Yeah, because you have room to move.
But every now and then they get like this good spacing.
Yeah,
so that there's no time and no space for you. And
yeah,
it gets rough. But that was probably the biggest example of myself and the viewers just coming in and going, holy shit, what is this?
yeah. Mine with you was you were playing Mega Man 9, and I always start with Blade Man. He's always my first guy. I think is Blade Man 9 or 10?
No, he's in 10.
Okay, sorry, it was Mega Man 10, and there was Blade Man. You were doing Blade Man, or I do Blade Man stage first all the time because I don't know, he's one of my favorite Robot Masters. And I like to do Strike Man next because he's also one of my favorites. Like Mega Man 10 had some fucking good designs, I think, for Robot Masters. But anyways, so Strike Man's nothing for me always. And watching you play Strike Man, it's like that guy's got some crazy patterns. He's kind of like a cross between what was it, that skier, the snowman with the skis. I can't remember which robot
Blizzard
master.
Man.
Yeah, it's like a cross between Blizzard Man and like some other guy. He's like all over the place, Strike Man. Hey, he's got like a nice pattern.
Yeah, he's got a pretty fun pattern to deal with. It's mostly predictable. Sometimes you don't know the first cycle, but after that, you know what he's going to do every single time. Except when he's throwing the ball, you never know if he's going to do it on the ground or in the air, and it makes a huge difference there, of course. But yeah, no, he's a fun one. I do enjoy that fight. I didn't like it initially when I first played, but then once I kind of got the hang of it a little bit, it's actually one of my favorite fights in that game.
Same. That's one of my favorites to do Buster only now. Like, just because he's got kind of so much going on there. Like, a lot of the Robot Masters have like simple, like especially like starting Mega Man 1, right? Like Cutman's fucked. Like, you shoot him, you can pretty much just jump his blade and shoot him and he won't do fuck all, or he'll jump, so you just avoid him when he jump. Like, some of them are so easy. But then you've got Strike Man, for example, and then I don't know, maybe not most, but a lot of the Mega Man and base Robot Masters will just straight up change their strats a little bit as they get weaker. That I like too. That's another thing I really like about that one. So I guess let's move on here. I guess it's not one of my questions on the list here, but you said you ran Mega Man X 100%. How long did you do that before you were like, I'm gonna do this Buster only, and why did you make that decision?
Well, I only did it for maybe a couple of weeks at most.
Oh, really? You only did it 100% for like a couple weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I really wasn't a speedrunner at the time. I was a variety broadcaster, and I was just starting out and trying to get the feel for things. But I don't know. It might have been a whole year. It might have been two. I don't know, before I even got back into trying Mega Man speedruns of any kind. But I mean, it was Mega Man 1 rather than X1. And I went
right.
through
So
all
1
the
was the
classics
first one
before.
that you did Buster
Yeah.
only as a speed run.
Yeah, this is the first one I officially speedran Buster only. I mean, I've done Buster only runs of most of the other games anyway, including X1, because that's, again, my primary play style. But
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a tough one to really answer definitively. However long it took me to get through Classic Series and start on X, that's how long it took. I don't know. I spent like five years or so training for that Triple M earlier this year. I want to say it probably took me a good 2.5 years to get to X1 after I started speedrunning officially.
But when did you, I guess, go from 100%ing Mega Man X to Mega Man 1? That was like that 2-week period, pretty much. Like, you did 100% on Mega Man X, and then you were like, I'm gonna speedrun Mega Man 1 Buster only. Or was it quite a ways after?
It was like 2 years after that I went to Mega Man 1 and started officially doing the speedruns and whatnot. Basically, there was a November. I always do like a Nintember or a Nestember or whatever, and we did Mega Man games, and I did all of them Buster only as I was going through, and somebody mentioned, hey, you should speedrun that, and I was like, I could try that. You know, it just went from there and blew up. And at a certain point I went, all right, so I've heard about this thing Triple M, I'm gonna do that. I don't know how long it's gonna take to get ready for it, but I'm gonna do that. And 5 years later, finally felt ready for it and did it.
Yeah. So my next question is kind of a not edgy one, but I don't know, just in case you leave people out, but who are your favorite people to watch on Twitch?
My favorite people, well, on the rare occasion I get to sit and watch something on Twitch, I'll definitely watch Arcalis if he's on. He's a good friend of mine. Very, very awesome dude. Been through some shit, and there's been ups and downs, but at the end of the day, we get along incredibly well and are practically the same damn person, apparently. But no, he's definitely, I would say, number one on my list. After that, I struggle to pick because every time I look, it's different people on.
Yeah.
But anybody that I consider a friend, like if I see you on and I'm actually, sitting down and watching, I'll go and at least lurk.
That's
the
the
at least
thing.
Lurk.
That's the thing. Like,
if nothing else, it's always a friend. That's what whoever I consider a friend, that's who I'll go and watch. I don't have like specific people that I'm like, oh, this guy, he's a partner and he's particularly
Yeah, same. I
entertaining.
pretty
Like,
much
I
just
don't
watch
care about that.
Friends too. Yeah.
I need that connection. You know what I
Unless
mean?
there's nobody
That's what I'm
on,
more
then
interested
I'll
in.
then I'll watch one of them. But a lot of the times, even then, like if
Okay,
there's like a streamer on and there's none of my friends are on and I just want to watch a stream, then sometimes I'll like watch one of them. But even then, like unless they're playing a game that I'm interested in, I'm like, fuck it.
there's one channel that I will watch when nobody else is on because I can count on it being on, and I particularly enjoy seeing the custom levels and music and everything. But it's Doom speed demos.
Oh,
I will
okay.
sit there and watch recordings of demos of people playing Doom on custom maps for hours and hours and hours, whether I'm
Really?
actually watching or not. Like I'll at least listen. I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
why the sounds you typically hear in classic Doom, I find them relaxing these days. I didn't when I was a child, but you know,
Yeah.
I find them to be relaxing, and I really enjoy some of the custom music that people have put together for some of those wads. And if I'm actually watching, then I'm probably looking at a little bit of design, getting ideas for my own maps, and seeing how people make things flow, seeing what works, what doesn't. Like,
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know.
that makes
I'm a
sense.
weird
That makes sense.
weird guy. If I'm watching something, I'm probably analyzing it to some degree, trying to learn something from it.
Yeah.
I very rarely will just like sit and veg out and just watch stuff. It's really really rare.
So speaking of how sometimes you'll just have it on in the background, it's kind of a weird fact, but you are my The Price is Right, because every time if I'm sick and I stay home and I'm just laying in bed, usually you're streaming. I think it's usually like Mondays or something, because I don't know when. There's one day or a couple days a week you're always on during the day, and if I'm sick, I'll just like lay in bed, put your stream on, and just watch it, and then like fall asleep, wake up. When you're like a little kid and like there's nothing on but The Price is Right, so you're
Yeah.
sleeping, you wake up, you watch a little bit, you go back to sleep. That's you
Yep.
to me now. You're my Bob Barker.
Oh my god. How many lemons does this cost?
Yeah. So, I think you answered this one, but who was the first person you watched on Twitch, and who was the first speedrunner? Was it Caleb then? Like that was the first person
No, the
you
first
saw?
person I watched on Twitch, no,
My God.
that wouldn't be Caleb. So I was technically introduced to Twitch by a website called Insomniac Gamers. They've actually somewhat recently disbanded, which is kind of sad, but it is what it is. But they had this cool little setup where they had a video player on the left side of the web page and a chat on the right hand side. And the chat was like a chatango or a chattingo or
Oh
whatever the
yeah,
hell you
I know
know.
what you're talking about. I don't know how to pronounce it
And
either.
and the video player it would switch automatically depending on when somebody goes live. But they had like a whole bunch of different streamers, and it would go to Twitch or it would go to what was it? I think it was literally called live stream. It might
Oh,
not
okay. Yeah,
exist
I do
anymore.
remember that. Yeah.
So it would just like swap between them as appropriately, and that just I saw people on there, and I'm like, oh my god, we're all gathered here watching people play fucking video games. Is this the goddamn future? What is
Yeah,
this? This is
hey.
amazing. I was hooked.
Yeah,
I was
that's
absolutely hooked. And I was a little bit younger, so I wasn't doing nearly as much constant work as I do like
yeah,
nowadays.
yeah.
So like I was
Just
watching
zoned
that
in
shit.
watching. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was blown away by it. And the coolest thing to me was when nobody was on, it would switch to live stream and just start playing not literal commercials, more like meme videos, but
Oh, really?
in a like a commercial kind of format. It was the coolest fucking thing, and I really do miss that. But that's what initially got me into Twitch, because I saw they're using live stream, I saw they're using Twitch. I looked into both, and when I went on Twitch, it was like, okay, yeah, this is the thing.
Oh, okay.
This is the fucking thing. Look at all these games everybody's playing. Oh my god, can I do this? I can do this. What? Like it just.
Yeah, that makes sense.
um, I couldn't pinpoint exactly which individual it was that I had first seen. I don't remember. There were so many of them on that on that website there, but I would say collectively, Insomniac Gamers is responsible for me ending up on Twitch.
That's cool. Yeah, I never heard of that Insomniac Gamers thing, but I remember there was like, because Twitch was Justin TV, I remember, or Justin.tv back in I don't know what year. And then there was Ustream and Livestream. I don't know if I don't even know if Ustream still exists, but
I don't know.
Those three were like the big ones. And we used to have a podcast. We would just do like a video, and then we were like, let's do it live, right? And so we were like, Justin TV was the best one to stream on. Like it was just the best one to work with, which that's what eventually became Twitch now, right? And it was funny because we didn't have a sign. We wanted to have like a screen that said like starting soon, right? But we didn't have that, so we had like this cardboard from like a pizza box, and we had black marker. And our podcast was called The Late Night Reach Around. So it said live reach around starting soon, and we were like setting up, and we had this thing hanging in front of the screen of the camera, and we were setting up, and we finally got set up, and we went to start, and somebody reported it, and we got banned from Justin TV because of the sign. So we had to quickly shuffle everyone over to Ustream. It was like, oh my god. So it's kind of
amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of cool though, because I have like, if you were to look at my account on Twitch, it's technically like one of the oldest ones because it still counts my Justin TV days as the account. So it's like joined in like 2008 or something like that. Like it's crazy. But yeah,
mine says that, but I definitely didn't join in 2008.
No?
I didn't know about Justin.tv at any point in time until it was already dead. But for some reason, one day my account just decided, you know what? I was created in 2008 now. It was definitely 2013. There's no question about that in my mind. But now it's 2008 because reasons.
That's
you
funny.
Click on it right now and it'll say it. I don't know why.
That's super weird, dude. So the next thing, let's talk about Triple M. So I guess tell everyone what is Triple M.
So Triple M, it's kind of like E3 in a way. You know, E3 is Electronic Entertainment Expo. Triple M is 3 M's as well, and it stands for Masters, Mavericks, and Mutos, or Mythos. Mythos would be more appropriate, but they decided Mutos. They went with the bad translation. But those are the three types of main bosses that you'll find in the 3 main Mega Man series, the Classic, X, and Zero series. So the Triple M run consists currently of 24 games back to back. That's 1 through 11 in the Classic series, which is actually 12 games because we're including Rockman and Forte.
Right.
It includes X1 through X8 and 01 through 04. So you're playing all of those back to back to back to back to back. The only exception to the back to back thing is in between series there's a forced 10-minute break, which is fine. That's, you know, it's
should probably exist.
Considering we're not really taking breaks in between that, even though we're allowed, we're just not because speed.
Yeah.
It's a good idea to get up for
no
a little
shit.
bit.
Yeah.
You do literally anything. But yeah, it's a pretty lengthy run. Like even the any percent runners, like if they get under 24 hours, they're doing good. So you can imagine it's a damn long run. Buster only is just, I don't know how I did sub 30 hours because that was
insane. I watched that. That was insane. I was like at a family function, and I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I like just sitting in there because I think we were driving because my family lives in like another town. It's like a 45-minute drive. So I was watching, and then you were coming to the end. You were like balls deep into I think 04, and I was like I can't miss the end. So I waited a little bit because you weren't quite at the end, and then I was like I gotta go to the bathroom or something, and I ended up watching the end of your Triple M Buster only run. At some family function, just dodging family.
Oh, that's pretty funny. Yeah, I can sort of remember the end of the run there where you're talking about, and I know I nearly died. I know I very nearly died to the final boss. But
I was like, in real life or in the game?
No, in the game. No, my health was fine at that time. Oddly enough, I was dealing with the fatigue incredibly well at the end of the game. Like something just kind of clicked, and
You
I
got your
got that
eighth wind.
15th wind, you know.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no, you fucker, you're not gonna fucking kill me. And I'll just get nice and close, jump, do my double jumps, and blasting him in his face. And people are in the chat like, I didn't know you could even do that. And I'm like, well, I'm relying on it. Fuck that, let's go. Like it
Oh,
just
that's
clutched
awesome.
it out, and I don't know. I was floored. Sub 30 was supposed to be impossible. I thought it was supposed to be impossible based on all of my sums of best for each individual
Really?
game. Sub 30 should have been impossible,
Wow. So you
but
was
sub
it
29
basically? Do you
happened.
think it was like you just died less? Probably.
I think I still need to die less, to be honest. But
Yeah.
I think part of it was newer strategies for Rockman and Forte for sure. Like newer, more aggressive strategies, and the new route for X7 that I almost basically made up on the spot.
Right.
instead of
That's insane.
practicing and taking my time, I just kind of went, oh, let's triple M, let's try it, let's do a new route, fuck it. And it
Yeah.
really paid off. I'm
Oh,
pretty
that's
sure that was
awesome.
pretty sure by far that is my best X7 run so far.
And as we all know, X7's probably the best in the entire
Oh yeah,
franchise.
of course, absolute masterpiece.
So who started Triple M? Do you know? Like
um
created.
what's the name? It's on the tip of my tongue. I should know this name. I'm gonna go with Clear Tonic as being the one because his name is
Okay.
also on the board. I'm
Oh,
pretty sure
okay.
that's the guy.
Okay. What made you decide to do Triple M? Because like obviously like there's some hardcore people doing it, any percent or 100%, and then we've got this absolutely insanely hardcore guy who's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it Buster only.
So when I heard about Triple M, I believe it was actually the second Triple M race. So it's supposed to be like an annual thing in August. People get together and do a Triple M race, but it didn't work out that way for a few years. But I saw the second one. I saw it live, and I was instantly just like, ooh, Mega Man's like my favorite series of all
Mm-hmm.
time. I have to do this. I just have to. There was no way I could convince myself not to. It's just I have to do this. I don't know. This is one of those things I have to do before my wrists tell me I'm too old to play games like this.
Yeah.
so I started training almost right away, and I was just like, I announced I'm gonna do it. I don't know when, but I'm gonna start training. And once I started training, I got the idea probably 2020 I'll be ready, and turned out I was right.
No
But
way, hey?
yeah, the following year, I think there wasn't a race, and then the year after that, there was a race, and I was actually the one handling the restream for it, so that was actually pretty cool. Um, but yeah, every time anybody started talking about it or started their own individual attempts, like Infinite Mystery, he does a lot of attempts per year. Like
Oh, okay.
he's I don't know, he's unique because he will just be awake for 70 whatever hours,
Oh
and it's
my
cool. It's fine.
god.
He
Gross.
doesn't exactly do speed runs. He does what he calls sloth runs. He's not the fastest runner, but he's got the stamina though. Like he will stay up for a week if he has to. I
Oh,
swear.
okay. So like he's
and
gonna get
and
it done no
and
matter
he keeps
what.
it
It's just gonna
together
take him a
too.
while.
His thoughts are pretty clear. He's well spoken. He's very friendly the whole time. He's never like getting upset even if he's doing very poorly, or like
Yeah,
he's just, I don't know.
that's
He's an
impressive.
inspiration in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that's impressive, man. That's impressive.
But yeah, it was just one
What's
of those things. I heard it existed, had to do it. I don't know.
what's the finish rate? Like, there's probably like a lot of people that don't finish, hey, that start, like especially like even this year. Or do most people
Yeah,
finish, or not really?
I would say most people do finish. I would also say they're probably not too happy with their times usually. But most people do finish. There's some instances where people don't, like this year. Vanez Prince was joining myself and Coltaho doing the Triple M, and Vanez
Hmm.
was also going at it Buster only, but he didn't get enough practice, and just by the time Colt had finished, Vanez was already kind of like dwindling down and not really making it too far. Like he was, I don't think he was even quite out of Classic or not far into X, or
Oh
something was
man.
going was going really wrong, and he
Yeah.
wound up just having to call it because he was just going to hurt himself if he bothered to
No
finish, because it was
shit.
going to take him like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. That's
Um,
nuts, dude.
but he had a better go at it this time than he did the first time I'd seen Triple M. The first time I'd seen Triple M, I was telling you that it was being restreamed, and Vanez was in that one.
Oh,
as
he
well,
was.
but
So he was doing it before you then? Like he
wasn't.
did a Triple M before.
He didn't finish that one either, but he was doing that one any percent, and again, he just didn't have the practice that he needed, because he just I don't know. I guess time constraints and
Oh yeah, that's got to take a lot of time playing through all those
some
games.
assumptions. He's like, he figured, I know most of the games should be okay, but Mega Man 7 kicked his ass really good, and then Rockman and Forte put him in the ground. He was not
Yeah,
ready for
that's
that
it.
one.
That's a game that like you definitely have to spend some time with if you wanted to speed run that one for sure.
Yeah,
Like I can get through
absolutely.
it, but it's like 4 hours, I want to say, a little over 4 hours for me because of all the grinding, and like I take my time, right, to make sure I get through it. But
Right. Yeah, and unfortunately, he just didn't know much about it, and since it was in Japanese, he didn't even know what he was going for in the shop or anything.
So the store, like he'd have been fucked.
Yeah,
he'd have been fucked.
Yeah. Even the store kicked his ass. Unfortunately, got to give him props for going for it and all.
No doubt, eh?
Yeah, he got put down. He got put down hard.
The fucking store final boss if you don't know Japanese.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know Japanese that well either, but
you just gotta memorize probably.
Pretty much. I played the English patch a couple of times to get myself familiar enough with the shop.
With the items.
Once I was there, it was like, okay.
And the icons are always the same, right? But
exactly. Exactly.
So the next, we got a couple more Triple M questions here. What's the hardest or most unenjoyable part of Triple M for you?
Oh man. The most unenjoyable part, I would say, is probably X5.
Really? Why?
Even though I hate Mega Man 5 more than X5, at X5 it's like that's when the fatigue is starting to really kick in, is somewhere in the middle of X5, and I don't like X5 as it is, and it drained me. So like the hardest part was actually immediately after with X6. I was getting so tired and like starting to question, am I gonna get through this? Is this game ever gonna fucking end? Like it felt like X6 dragged forever, and I blame X5 for it, because that was when I started getting, that was like where the rest of my energy went, was tolerating X5.
Fuck.
But once I got into X7 and started trying that new route, like I was saying, then I perked up again. But yeah, X6 I would say is the hardest, and X5 is the most unenjoyable part of the Triple M for me.
Yeah, X6 is my least favorite of the X series, but I'm glad, like, thankfully, the light at the end of the tunnel, X7's right after it, So, as you said, it perked you up. It's the best one.
It did, because I was trying that new route. If it weren't for trying the new route, I don't know what would have happened in X7. I might have fallen asleep or something.
Yeah, but nobody can sleep through burn through the ground.
Burn to the ground.
Burn to the ground. Dude, that is the best. I don't know. I love that game. It's like watching a shitty B movie where it's like, it's so bad it's good. That's kind of how I feel about X7.
Pretty apt description for sure.
Because at least you're laughing. You know what I mean? It's X6 is shit, and you're not laughing. You're just pissed off. X7, I feel like, hey, here's how it goes. X5, you're just bored. X6, you're pissed off, and then X7, you're laughing. that's how I always feel playing those ones.
Unfortunately for me, X7 I had to play in Japanese just because it's a lot faster.
Oh, really?
Japanese.
What is it? Hey, what does he say? Does he still say burn to the ground?
I don't know what he even says.
Oh, I'll have to watch that back.
It's nowhere near as funny in Japanese,
that's too bad.
sure. But you deal a lot more damage in Japanese just because.
Oh, really?
You just deal more damage. I don't know. So the game ends up a lot faster as a result. You're dealing at least twice
those
as much
Japanese
damage, if not a little
steroids
more.
X is allowed to take over there.
Yeah. Rockman X is way more powerful than Mega Man X.
So what's the easiest or most enjoyable part of Triple M? Other than finishing. That's got to be the most enjoyable part.
I would say X1 and X3. Probably the easiest and most enjoyable part for me. It's like X1 perks you up because you're out of the classic series. You just had your 10-minute break. You're sitting down. You're ready to go. Got your mind into the game.
That's
Let's
true.
go.
Hey, it's like a
And it's a
refresh,
damn yeah, and it's a
and then
damn
it's a
good
good
game.
game.
So
Yeah.
right, and I would say X2, but I don't really like X2 to be honest. Unpopular opinion, but I don't like it.
No, I can
Um,
see that.
Even though I like X3, which is another unpopular opinion.
Yeah, I like X3 better than X2. My problem with X2 is the bosses have like iframes for 90% of the fights. Like Wheel Gator's just like see ya. He's just
Yeah,
under the water
yeah.
the whole time. It's like, what the fuck, man? How am I supposed to do this? I can't even shoot him. It's not even that he's hard. It's just he takes so much time.
Yep. Yeah, the easiest one is probably the crab in X2.
Yeah,
As long as you know how to manipulate him, he's not too bad. But like other than that, all them bosses are just
they can
really rough.
Yeah, I hate the X2's bosses.
And then some are like completely hit or miss, like Centipede or Snail. Both of those, it's like up to RNG a little bit whether or not you can get through quickly. And it's just I don't know. It aggravates me.
Yeah, I understand that. I feel that as well.
But X3 is particularly enjoyable because of the additional movement options.
Yeah,
Like,
the up dash and the.
yeah, the double up dash in particular.
Do you get the gold
is
armor
really-
in your X3 run?
No, you can't get that in Buster only, but you
Oh,
can
okay.
get the leg chip. So that
Oh,
you get
so
the
you
double
still
air
get
dash.
the. Okay, that's the one you go for is the leg chip.
Yeah.
Out of all the
Yeah.
chips. Okay.
Yeah, that way I can get the armor too.
Oh, really? You can get the armor and the leg chip?
Yeah, as long as you have the leg chip, you can get the armor.
Oh,
you don't
okay.
You don't need the what is it called? The gravity well?
Oh, I see. I see what you mean. I thought you meant you get the armor chip and the leg chip, but no, you get the
just the regular
basic armor.
yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Which is pretty necessary because everything hits you like a truck.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. It's rough. That game's hard. Especially like the final boss, like because I didn't know you have to hit him in like the vent instead of the head. That's like probably everybody
Yeah.
comes up to that
Yeah,
problem.
the head flashes. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's the worst.
Hitboxes, love them.
Yeah. So that's it for the triple M questions. So now for probably the biggest question of all: who is the genius mastermind that came up with the Dukey drive-thru, and does it hold any practical usage in a speed run at all, or is it just cringy swag at this point?
Well, I think we know who came up with the Dukey drive-through there, Dukey. I would say it does have practical use in a speed run. I don't know if it's the best or fastest way to get through, but yeah, it does have practical usage in a speed run, and it's a pretty interesting little trick there. You came up with that trick. You wanna like open up with what that was?
I don't
What
even
made you think
remember
about
what
that?
stage. I was
Like-
I was a little not what's the word I'm looking for? Not sober. And I was just watching you play the game, and I was like, dude, what if you just did this? Like, because I was just watching you. Like, usually, like a lot of times when I'm watching somebody stream or something, I'm just playing something, and it's kind of like background noise, and I can interact, right? But I was just like zoned the fuck out watching your stream, and I was like, dude, that worked. I wonder if this would like actually work, and then it did. Like, what was it? You hit the enemy before the gate, right before the gate, so he knocks you to a certain part of the gate, and then you end up starting the boss fight in a different location, right? So then
Yeah,
you
pretty much.
can either chip
it-
into him and start with the low health, which gives you the bonus on your damage, right? If you're not weak enough going into that room, or you're just
Right.
closer, so you can hammer him a little quicker. That's
Yeah,
kinda...
the biggest advantage of the Dukey drive-through there is since you're triggering the boss door while you're not even in iframes yet, but like in recoil frames.
Yeah.
It triggers the load for the boss itself a lot sooner.
Yeah, right. That too. It starts that earlier too, right?
Yeah. He loads in and starts his animation, and you're like still walking over to the right. Whereas normally when you enter that door, you have to walk all the way over.
Stop, and then he starts coming. Yeah.
Yeah, then everything stops. He loads, and then he comes in and flies across the screen a whole bunch. And now you skip all that and Dukey drive through and just get him going. Yeah, it's actually a really good strategy, and I don't remember if I got it in the Triple M or not.
Oh, you
I'm
tried
pretty
it in the
sure
Triple M?
I'm pretty sure I went for it. I
You
don't remember if
madman,
I got
you.
it or not. I'll have to look back, but
I called it.
yeah,
I
yeah, no,
called it
it's a
that
legit
because
strat.
I called it that because the enemy hits you, which drives you through the wall, through the
Yeah.
gate. Drive through. Anyways.
It's kind of brilliant in a way because it's very similar to something in Mega Man 7 that people use on what's his name, on Junk Stage going into the elevator. If you get hit just right into the door that goes into the elevator, you kind of like get stuck in the wall and you can jump up the wall and then slide across and skip the elevator.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so it's the same kind of logic and probably a bigger skip, to be honest.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, that was really cool when you suggested that and it worked. I was like, holy shit, dude,
I
this
didn't
is
think it was gonna
amazing.
work. I didn't think it was gonna work. I was just like, "Can you try this, please?" And you were nice enough to actually like, you know, humor my request. You're like, "All right."
Well, I mean, as somebody who both likes to find strategies and likes to teach strategies, when somebody comes up with an idea, 9 times out of 10, as long as I'm not in the middle of a run,
Yeah.
I'll try it.
Yeah.
I will try it, and we'll see what happens. You never know. Maybe your idea was dumb, but it causes me to do something and find something new. I don't know. Like
Yeah,
there's always
that's true.
potential anywhere. So it's like, whether your idea sounds good or not, I'll go for it. That one happened to sound good in the first place, but I mean, there's other times where people have suggested things, and I'm just like, yeah, sure, let's see what happens.
So, I guess the next question would be, since you kind of brought that up, how hard is it to teach someone to speedrun? Because I know you were doing those, what was it, MBU? Is that what it was?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mega Buster University. It's still a thing. I just don't have any students at this time. But how hard it is to teach someone, it depends on the individual. There's a lot of extra work I do when I'm observing them, when I'm talking to them, and especially when I'm listening to them and seeing how they react to different things. I don't know how to really explain this fully, but I'm kind of gauging where they're at, not just mentally, not just skillfully, but also like a maturity kind of thing. See
Okay.
where the student is at, so I can gauge about how receptive they'll be and what they'll be receptive
And like
to.
how determined they are, kind of probably
How
has a lot to
determined
do
they
with
are
it
is
too.
is a
Hey.
huge factor.
Yeah.
Oh, I've had two students so far, and both of them were kind of difficult for differing reasons. One didn't like to listen, the other one got stressed out easily.
What didn't like to listen?
One
Fuck,
didn't like
that's
to listen,
funny.
the other got stressed out easily and would just constantly be trying to give up. And
Oh
you
fuck.
give them a minute and they'll be okay. But
That'd be me, man.
there were
I
some
get
things
worked
to
up.
work out in terms of like the way that they do their practice. I had to slowly change their mind about how they approach their practice so that they could stay focused instead of worrying about every last little thing. Thankfully, they were a musician of sorts, so I could use musical performance as an allegory for how to approach the practice. And it's like in music, you might mess up here and there. You just might hit the wrong note. You might miss
Yeah,
something.
that's
It's
true.
whatever.
You
But
you
you
got to keep
can't.
going if you're.
You gotta
Yeah,
get
yeah,
right
yeah.
in it and just keep fucking going with whatever you're doing.
Yeah,
So
that's a good.
I had
I
to
never even thought
instill
of that.
I'd instill that kind of thought process into their practice as well. And it's like, things are going to go wrong almost every single
Mm-hmm.
time you ever try anything. You are not human tasks. You will fuck up. You have to accept it. You have to keep a mental note of it so that hopefully you can improve it going forward. But you finish that fucking run.
Yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense. That totally makes sense.
So
Yeah, I
there's a
played in a
lot of,
band and
of
stuff too,
getting
so
into
I
the
understand.
student's head involved in teaching a student. There's a whole lot of things outside the realm of Mega Man that are going on, and it's going to sound probably like I'm like trying to brag or something, but I mean the goal is to help them with things beyond Mega Man, to help them with figuring out how to learn other things as well. There's a good degree of internal growth that's
Oh,
necessary
absolutely.
for completing an MBU course. There's a hell of a lot involved, and we really get to know each other.
Yeah.
And I just work on whatever I can identify and improve. I do. So it's not easy by any means, but some students, of course, are easier than others, just
Mm-hmm.
because everybody's at a different spot in life.
Yeah. But even I know, like with martial arts and stuff, if you when for myself when I started, it's like you kind of pick up a way and you think you're learning it, you think you've got it, so you're like, I'm gonna just do it like this, and then when you're corrected, you're like, no, I'm just gonna do it like this. And then now it's taken like 8 years, right? And now it's like, no, you listen to your instructor. They've been doing this way longer than you. Even if it feels right to you because that's how you've been doing it, that's not how you do it now. Okay, you do what that guy tells you to do. Like that's something. Right. I don't know if it's an ego thing people have, but it's something that takes a lot of time to break down, to put your trust into somebody, like no matter what. Because you think you got it in your head, like you made that work for you this way, and it's not going to work for you as quickly this way because you've been doing it this way for so long. But once you've practiced it this way, for almost as much as you practice it this way, the way the instructor taught you is going to be way better than this way. It's just
absolutely
that's just how it is. That's something that takes a lot of time for people to learn.
Yeah, I think most people go through that at some point in time. Whatever it is they may be studying at any point, you get like this internal confirmation bias where you're like,
yes, that's exactly what it is.
You look at it on the surface and you say to yourself, but it's working.
Mm-hmm.
But is that really good enough? And how are you inhibiting yourself? What minor things are not coming together that should be? What small aspects of it are you not even considering that if you had a better understanding of, you could actually continue to improve on top of like just getting it done? Like accomplishing it's not really everything there is to it, no matter what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so now we're getting into I guess more like just get to know the person stuff. What kind of music do you like? Like, what are some of your favorite bands or groups? Like, what kind of music do you listen to in your spare time? Or is it mostly like video game music? Because I know at the beginning and end of your streams, you're usually playing some really good video game tunes and stuff. But what do you usually play if you're just like driving or something like that, you know?
Well, I've actually started putting some of that music into the car as well while I'm driving. But as far as like bands go, I listen to a lot of older stuff, and when I say a lot, I mean a lot of songs, not a lot of bands.
Right. Okay. But, yeah.
I listen to like a lot of Grateful Dead, Jethro Tull, maybe some Frank Zappa here and there. I mix it up with like some Metallica. Every now and then, depending on how the mood strikes me, I might pop in some Disturbed, which isn't nearly as old, but mostly like 60s, 70s kind of music.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much what I get into.
Okay, yeah, I was interested in that. Well, what are your favorite, like, if like I don't know if like me, I don't watch a lot of like TV shows and stuff, but there are still some that I do cherish. What are some of your favorite like TV shows, anime, or movies or stuff like that?
Well, my favorite TV show, hands down, South Park.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Love me some South Park. I mean, I live and breathe South Park. You could ask me just about anything about any random episode. I probably have the answer for you. But like an anime, I would have to pick Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, GT, Super, all that stuff. Those have had actually a rather profound impact on my life. I would say, and I started watching Super recently, finally, and I would say it's continuing to have a similar.
It's good, hey. Impact. Oh, some people were shitting on it, but I like it.
There's repetitive things and there's stupid things in any of them, but I mean there's
a lot of the new stuff is the best stuff though, I find. Hey,
there's this reoccurring theme where Goku is meeting somebody who has something to teach him. And whatever it is, it's usually something, whether you can literally use it to like physically do things in life or not may be questionable, but there's always some kind of deep lesson that has to deal with discipline that's in there. And I tend to take that kind of thing incredibly seriously and apply it to as many things in life as I can. And I would say more than any other series, the Dragon Ball series have had the largest impact on me in that kind of way. I mean, whether it's Goku meeting Mr. Popo and Kami for the first time, or training under Master Roshi, or going to meet a different Kai and train under that, like whatever it may be, there's always something that they present to him that whether he gets it or not, I kind of cling on to it and analyze it as much as I can, and I tend to get a lot out of it.
What's your which is your favorite Dragon Ball series then? Like Z.
So far Super is really shaping up to be one of my favorites, but I don't know. I think the original Dragon Ball had a nice mixture of serious and not so serious
Yeah,
content,
yeah.
and the
Dragon Ball is
humor
my
was
favorite too.
honestly similar in ways at times to South Park.
Yeah, it's just back then instead of now, right? Like obviously not as edgy,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's yeah. I
It's just
yeah.
loosely similar.
I like the biggest reason I like Dragon Ball the best out of all of them, and Super I feel in this way is better than Z was, but in Dragon Ball they had to they would fight somebody, usually get kind of beat up or had to retreat for a bit, but they always had to come up with like a strategy or a plan to beat the guy, right? Whereas in Z
Yep.
they just train more. You know what I mean? Like for the
Yep.
first half of Z, they kind of come up with strategies and stuff, and then the last half it's like, no, let's just power up, let's just do that.
Yeah.
So
Which is why I'm glad Super picked up where it did and cut out some of that Z crap.
yeah. What was your favorite arc out
And
of the whole franchise? What's your favorite like arc?
hmm, that's a pretty good question there.
Mine is the when Goku's a kid fighting Tien at the World Tournament. That's my favorite part in the whole
Okay.
series. When Tien
That's a
blows
pretty
up
good
the
one.
ring, and
Hmm.
it's ring out, right, if you were to touch the ground. So Goku's constantly firing Kamehamehas at the floor to stay in the air. That was just like, oh man, that was like the most intense. That was the best. That was the best.
I might have to go with the whole Namekian thing from the time they left Earth to try to go to get to Namek and got to fake Namek and finally got there and got their Dragon Balls and fought Frieza and all like
That whole
everything that went
Namekian
on and all of that.
saga.
I think that was pretty cool. And when Goku did finally go Super Saiyan, it's just I don't know. That was one of those epic moments where, I was still a kid at the time, so I'm just like
Yeah,
standing on my
dude.
bed, staring at the TV, like
Yeah,
oh my
dude.
god, like shaking and shit. Like it was epic. I couldn't contain myself when it happened because like everything he was saying, I could kind of like feel it. You know what I
Oh
mean? Like
yeah.
getting the anger, but at the same time, just I don't know. I was feeling strong too.
Yeah,
I was
dude.
ready to
They
kick some
that
ass.
scene is incredible. The thing is, the shitty thing about that scene is nowadays like Super Saiyan is so normalized now. Everybody knows it's a thing, but back then Super Saiyan was like a myth. Like Vegeta was like, "That's right, bitch. I'm a Super Saiyan." Like everybody thought they were a Super Saiyan before you actually saw it, so you didn't know that there was even a transformation until it happened.
Right.
So it was like, because Vegeta was like, Frieza, I'm your worst nemesis. I'm a Super Saiyan, and then gets beat up, and then Goku shows up, and they're like, haha, this guy, he's actually a Super Saiyan, and you don't know what a Super Saiyan is at this point, right? So you think he is a Super Saiyan. It just means you're strong, right? You didn't know it was a
Yeah.
transformation, and so going into that as a kid, nobody knowing what a Super Saiyan or seeing a Super Saiyan, you're like, okay, Goku's fucking toe to toe with this guy, and then he starts kind of losing a little bit, and then what triggers it? Krillin gets killed, right? That's what triggers it.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
his son could die, and he's like, I'm a little upset, but you kill my friend. Goku's like the worst dad ever, but that's the best part. But yeah, and then when it's like an actual transformation, and you're like, oh my god, none of that was a Super Saiyan. This motherfucker right here, this is a Super Saiyan. Like that
Yeah.
was, oh my god, that was mind blowing as a kid. We used to watch that after school.
Wild.
Oh man, that was nuts.
Yeah, I used to watch it way back in the day on WB, and they would have two episodes every Sunday morning at 8 and 8:30. The 8 o'clock episode would be whatever last week's new episode was, and then the 8:30 episode would be the new
Oh,
one for the
okay.
week. But they only went as far as when Goku arrived on Namek at
Yeah,
the
and then
end
they'd
of the
start
episode.
rerunning the whole
They'd
fucking
start
season.
over again.
Ah, it
Like
was the
next time on
worst.
Dragon Ball Z, Raditz comes down.
Yes.
God damn it!
Oh, I hated that, dude. That
It
happened.
was like years of that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
when,
same. For us, it was
by the
always after
time
school, but yeah, oh, that was a
yeah,
nightmare.
by
Because
the
you were
time
like
Cartoon
on the edge
Network
of your
picked it up,
seat.
like
Because it would even
yeah,
preview the next week, like the next one that didn't
exactly.
exist, and you were like, "Fuck yeah!" And then fucking Yeah,
They're gonna do it this time. They're gonna do it this time. No,
yeah.
no. Waited a whole week for them not to do it.
Yeah, that was the worst.
The worst, the absolute worst part of it was, when the next week came around, you were watching that episode again first to see the preview again.
Yeah, because with yours it would play the last
and
week's,
then the second episode, fucking Raditz comes down.
That's even worse.
It was so bad. Like, I waited a week for this, you fuckers.
Yeah, that's fucking awful. That was the worst.
It was the absolute worst.
We'd still watch all of it again.
Oh yeah, of course.
You'd watch the whole Saiyan saga all over again, but
of course, the whole thing.
Maybe this time. I think it played through the whole Saiyan saga twice at least before, and then the Namek saga, and then before it actually got to the conclusion with the reruns.
Yeah, it went forever. But by the time Cartoon Network picked it up, I'd already watched most of Z in Japanese, so I kind of knew what to expect. But I still watched it anyway in English.
Man. So what's your favorite? What are some of your favorite games that you don't normally stream? Like your favorite game that you don't, I guess, speedrun would be like the best question.
I am very partial to any Doom game except Doom 3. As well as any Quake game except Quake 4. But yeah, I used to be like a real big first-person shooter guy back in the day. And let's see, my biggest game that I play nowadays, though, that I'm not streaming, it might actually be Among Us. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I tend to play that at least once a week, sometimes more. There's another one that what else was I getting into? I was getting into this like Bomber Grounds Battle Royale thing a little bit. I did stream that some though, so maybe that
I remember I was joining on that.
It's a tough one to answer because I don't play many games off stream.
Yeah.
I guess Among Us is gonna be my answer because I don't know.
The next question is, are you a sadist?
No. Contrary to popular belief, no.
How do you remember everything in a speed run, let alone something in Triple M? Like, are there little tricks? The games are so, like, to me anyways, the games are so similar, I would get them mixed up. Like, especially like, I don't even know how you keep track of which Robot Masters are in which game sometimes. Like, how do you remember all these strats and stuff?
I don't. There are a lot of little nuances, especially when you're going through a stage. It's like at any given point, you might have to approach something a specific way, hold right, then jump, or jump, then hold right. Like all kinds of little tiny nuances everywhere. But I don't honestly have much for a capacity of memory like that. There has to be some kind of stimulation for me to remember something.
Yeah.
So as far as like the boss order, I have no idea. I look at my timer.
Yeah.
I have all my splits.
All right, that's who's
my
next.
Splits. Yeah, exactly. That's literally what it is. I look at the splits. Okay, that's who's next. Okay, I forgot we were in that game still.
Yeah, you would.
But like when it comes to all those little nuances in the stages, it's like once it's on the screen, then I probably know by then. But before it's on the screen, I have no idea what's even coming up in the next 2 seconds. No idea.
Yeah,
every single time.
That makes sense. That's also insane.
I have such low capacity for memorization these days that it's just every time I play any of the games, it's a new journey.
This is my first time playing this game again.
It's like it sometimes, but the benefit to that though is if I play a new game, I react pretty well to everything I'm seeing on the screen.
I guess.
The first time through.
that works too. I guess that helps with that. So I got two questions left. Okay, I mean probably unless something pops in my head.
Okay.
When are you going to campaign to add Mega Man Legends to create a quadruple M? That's the.
Never.
When are you gonna play Mega Man Legends?
That's a better question. If I
That's
haven't
not the
gotten
second
to
question, by the way.
Oh, okay.
But go ahead.
But if I haven't gotten to it by Mega May, then it'll happen in Mega May.
Okay.
It will. At least Legends 1, if not 2 as well, but at least 1 will happen then.
Yeah, I could probably help you with stuff on that because I've played Mega Man Legends 1 50 billion times. Yeah, I saw that too. I have no idea what the fuck that was.
That?
I have no idea. I have no idea. Okay, So the final question, the most difficult, probably the most difficult question for either of us. Who is cooler, Proto Man or Zero?
Ooh, damn.
Yeah, the most difficult question of all time.
That is a difficult question because the very answer could invalidate itself.
What do you mean?
Well, Zero is based on a Proto Man prototype.
That's true. He's the Proto Man then.
He's like Proto Man X, basically.
Yeah, that's the hardest question ever.
Personality-wise, Proto Man's probably cooler.
Yeah, he says less. He's just there, you know.
In terms of capabilities, I would say Zero's definitely got that.
Oh yeah, totally. But if you had to pick,
overall,
it's impossible.
If I just had to pick, yeah, I don't know. Man, that's a tough one.
That's the hardest question ever, man. I can't. I think I would have to go with Proto Man. I think, if only because of the whistle. Like you hear that whistle and you're like, oh yeah,
Whistle
brother.
is definitely big points in his favor.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's not there as much. Like Zero by Mega Man X4, he's there all the time. Whereas Proto Man's like, peace out. Like, you know, he'll show up, do something, and be like, I got you, bud. And then you won't see him for like the rest of that game. So that maybe adds to the cool factor to me, but I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with that. Proto Man's like a super convenient plot device when he needs to be or when he wants to be, especially. He does what he wants. Like he's the bad boy in that kind of way.
Yeah.
So I think I would have to give it to Proto Man, to be honest. Zero, he's always there, and he in so many ways he's a badass, but personality wise, he's kind of a bitch.
That's true sometimes. Yeah.
At least compared to Proto Man, he's kind of a bitch. It's like, I don't know. I got to give it to Proto Man. I have to.
And who do you like better, X or Mega Man, as a person, as a character, and to play as? You can do two separate answers, I guess.
Well, as a character, not to play as, I would say classic Mega Man. I like a little better because he's not afraid to shoot at what he needs to shoot at.
Oh yeah,
X is just like, let me be super pacifist and shaking my boots and shit.
I hated that because X7 was the first one I played, so I was like, this is how X is. Why?
No.
Why do people?
I mean, it is how X was, but he was never really portrayed that way in the games before that, though.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. You've probably seen Day of Sigma by now, and it's like even in that he was not ready for any kind of action.
That's true.
He didn't accomplish shit in that. It's kind of hard to believe that he went from that to becoming like the most powerful robot ever.
Yeah.
Like, goddamn.
So you'd say Mega Man is your favorite plot wise, like as a character, but who's your favorite to play as?
X is my favorite to play as.
Yeah.
You can't beat Dash Lemons for me. Sorry.
Yeah. And wall grab, like.
Yep, wall jumps and all that. Oh,
yeah. When you're playing like Mega Man X, and then it's fine if I'm playing X and go to like NES style classic Mega Man, but if I go to Mega Man 7, I die so much because I'm trying to wall grab, because it's a Super Nintendo game, right? So I'm like, you fall down so many more pits. Whereas in X, you could just grab the wall, jump off the wall, you know, climb your way back up. But
yeah, pits almost never matter except like on Sigma 1.
yeah. But anyways, that's all I've got. Thank you for your time. And just I guess drop any places people can reach you. Just fucking spam it.
Spam it. Alrighty. Well, thanks for having me here, man. You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Kammesennin. You can. I don't have a link ready, but you could join Mega Buster University if you're interested in learning any game Buster only, or just looking for some like frame specific info or looking for strategies. We got videos on there. I'm not really existing in too many places other than that, to be honest. I guess you can find me on Twitter at Kame_Sennin. That's really about it. There's not that much for me to spam, to be honest.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for doing the interview, man. I'm glad you
me,
set some time aside and got her done. And take care. And I guess I'll see you again on Twitch. And thanks everyone for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. Click that subscribe button. I'm going to probably be doing some more of these interview style videos / podcasts. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and you guys have a great rest of your day as well.
Take care, everybody.